It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts, Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we're serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff on there, and you guys haven't discovered it yet, or at least a lot of you haven't. So take a look around. You'll see not only old episodes of Dishin Days, but you'll also see our mini interviews from Day of Days, the Daytime Emmys, and any other shows and shenanigans that we've been doing for almost 9 years. So check it out and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell notification. That way you'll never miss when we're going live or when we've posted a brand new video. Also, if you have not already, we have our members only exclusive videos. So if you would like to join, it is $4.99 a month. And make sure you join now, because our first virtual happy hour will be on October 23rd at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you don't want to miss that. That's for members only. There you go. Yeah. So check us out. Also, if you need to take us along a long car ride while you're stuck in traffic, or you're road tripping, or you're pumping iron in the gym, or taking a stroll around Horton Town Square, make sure you find us on your favorite podcast station. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just find us, Dishin Days, and follow and take us wherever you need to, so that way you'll never miss what's been happening in Salem each and every week. And also make sure you show some love to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, Mr. James Lott Jr., who is serving up a few dishes of his own. Over at JLJ Media, you can find a recap of Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital, along with some original, produced by, written by, directed by James Lott Jr. audio dramas. So make sure you check that all out at JLJ Media on YouTube or wherever podcasts can be found, because James Lott Jr. is the only person that I know who's old enough to remember when Jesus took the wheel. Also, make sure you tell us your thoughts in the comments below, or if you're here live-ish, comment in our chat. If you haven't realized already, we have pre-taped this show because we have a lot of stuff to do on Sunday, but we want to make sure that we are giving you the best that we got, in the words of Anita Baker. We still want to make sure that you guys have a space that you can still chat among yourselves, even though you're not chatting with us live, but you can share your thoughts on what happened this week on Days of Our Lives. Speaking of, what do we think of this week's episodes of Days?
Good week. I think we got some progression with some storylines. I feel like we're leading up to some things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like I thought there was going to be, this was definitely a build-up week, but it seems to be building up to wrap things up. And I didn't think that we were going to get to something so quickly. So I'm happy.
I feel like, again, this is coming back from the writer's strike and being like, wrap that up. We'll let this go for a little bit till I figure that out. Wrap that up. We'll keep that going until I figure it out. And now, wrap.
It's interesting because these three, the ones we're going to talk about, I feel like the last 2 months, that's all we've been talking about. That's all they focused on. So like now that they're wrapping up soon, it's like, okay, well, what else? Like, we need other storylines to take hold here.
Yeah. And I actually wouldn't have minded if some of these had gone on longer. Okay, maybe not one.
Yeah.
Maybe not one.
Okay, Michael Mattis.
Oh, speaking of, Michael Madison isn't here because he's too busy.
But I may be speaking for him today on some things.
Listen, you speak for yourself enough. You don't need to
Well,
speak for nobody else.
well, he and I are just now finally really concurring on one thing. So
I'm gonna need to talk to Michael Madison about this. All right, well, let's talk among ourselves and dive in deep to this week's episodes. It is now time to start
Dishin
Dishin
Days.
Days. Well, you know, we almost got there. All right, we're gonna start with the first storyline, and I am telling you, I'm not going in the elevator. This is all the stunt shows and shenanigans that are dealing with body and soul.
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm gonna be Michael Mattis here. Throw it out. Throw it all out. Throw it all out.
I think I'm just at a point where I would like to know who these are based on. I feel like there's some tea. I feel like every time I watch this and I watch like, you know, the fighting that's happening, Hattie's resistance to like not killing off her character, the diva like attitudes, giving gifts and suggestions. I want to be like, I want to know who these are based off of.
Maybe, maybe we'll get a book from Ron soon. I guess
I would rather read the
we
book.
see his new move, if he's gonna stay in writing daytime, or maybe he'll transition to like these sort of like not tell-all books, but like those loosely based. We get a book on soap operas that are loosely based on people from his various shows over the years.
And I would rather read the book. Give me the tea. I guarantee you it would sell better.
I still think the problem with Body and Soul is that we are seeing our everyday characters from Salem in it. I think if this was being produced with other people, just with Johnny and Kate and Abe, and then other actors playing everyone else, I think this storyline would maybe go over well.
Yeah.
But I think because it's intertwined in other storylines that they're trying to present, such as the whole Johnny and Chanel, the Johnny jealousy thing.
No.
I think that's what's losing some fans.
Yeah.
About this.
Yeah.
What do you mean losing some?
I think there's some that are sticking with it.
Yeah.
I know. Oh gosh.
You know what? I'm gonna make that a poll. I'm gonna make that a poll. Do you like Body and Soul? Yes or no?
The current Body and Soul storyline. Let's be very clear. When a year ago, when they were having Abe watch Body and Soul as we first saw it, we loved it.
Yes.
We loved the original incarnation. We loved how meta it was. We loved that it gave Lauren and Deidre and Judy something to play with. It was like a different thing to sink your teeth into, and they probably got a kick out of, a soap within a soap. That was great. This is not.
Body and Soul.
I go back and forth. Sometimes I like certain aspects of it, but they have too many people integrated in it. Like you, I like Kate and Abe in it. I like them in charge. I like giving them something to do. James and Lauren work really well together, so I'm glad to see them paired back together again in this capacity. I like that we're getting old Kate back in a way. She hasn't been the Kate we sort of are obsessed about and love for a little while now. I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind the Leo part of it. I don't even mind the Bonnie part of it. I don't mind the Johnny part of it, but it should work like the newspaper does as like a background workplace, and we should hear about these. We should hear Bonnie tell Justin, "Oh, I shot these scenes today," but not have it be seen, and make that, you know, basically it's their job. This is their job, just like the newspaper is Chad's job, and Demira Enterprises and Titan are the other jobs. Like, keep it as a workplace set, essentially. It's too integrated. It's, yeah, I don't know. Then this stuff with Hattie, I'm like, I didn't see this coming. I thought there was going to be some sort of switch at the end, and it was like going to be them trying to teach her a lesson of some sort. But it was like, okay, is this Deidre's limit for playing Hattie? Like, I'll come and do a few weeks of Hattie, and then that's all I can take. So we need to write her out now. Like, I don't know.
I mean, which is ironic because Judy Evans and Deidre Hall are the only reasons I am hanging onto this storyline.
I kind of agree. Yeah. It's weird that they're getting rid of her, and it's like, oh, that's the kind of part that I kind of like. I like Hattie as a character, and I like her interaction with Bonnie. So
yeah. And truly turning shit into sugar, because Judy Evans, when she goes there, she goes there.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, I actually wouldn't mind if Judy Evans submitted some material from this storyline for an Emmy, because just the work that she does, I'm telling you, she's the only reason I'm hanging on.
But it's interesting. Why not, like, those scenes that they give her as Cassandra, where she's like playing it up, or she's disappointed that she's not playing Cassandra? Like, give that to her in a different form. Like, Bonnie's a character that's been around for almost 25 years now. She has a whole family. Bring her sons back. Bring Mimi back. Give her and Justin a different storyline. Like, that's what it's like, you're giving her this sort of like fun, interesting material, but it's in the guise of this soap opera, which doesn't really work. It's like, give her that someplace else. Like,
and
she's a real storyline. She's
capable of playing both at the same time. She did it as Adrian, and she's done it as Bonnie, where she is capable of playing not just straight comedy, not just straight drama. She's that good. She's that good. Give her the fact that she is turning this horrifically problematic. It's so cringe. It's cringe in how it's trying to be meta. It's trying to be like taken seriously, but it's failing on every level. And Judy Evans, whenever she's in a scene, is the only time I'm really like.
I mean, listen, it's not. I've already said the changes that could have been made. It's not horrible.
Yeah, no.
I just think it could have been done differently. Yeah. Like, I find, maybe because I like behind the scenes stuff, so seeing this behind the scenes soap of a soap, I'm still just kind of like.
But there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it, like Justin said.
Well, we discussed all the ways that they could have possibly did it, but here we are with it, right? And so, you know, it's not terrible, because we've seen some terrible stuff.
Yeah, no.
It just could have been done differently. But, like, you know, the scene when Hattie finally came out to do her final scene, watching her come up and improvising on how to not get into said elevator.
But even that, I love Deidre, and I think that she did great with that scene. But that scene was a ripoff of Friends.
Oh yeah.
Like, almost word for word.
Okay, sure. But for me, I found it fun. Like, her being like, Cassandra, you go. And she's like, I'm hooked up to an IV.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between an homage and a ripoff. Like, that was a ripoff of Friends, and the ripoff of Friends with this was a ripoff from LA Law. Like, it's fix it.
And really then when Dr. Blake was like,
okay, he's killing it. I've never liked that character. I now find him at least quirky and a little more entertaining than when he's sort of, in the past and correct me if I'm wrong, that Seth wasn't him before, right? Is he newer as the new Seth? Because we've
No,
seen
that's him.
that was him years ago. He's always
That's
been
him.
that. Okay,
Yes.
I couldn't. I know the character, but I couldn't remember if that particular actor had played Seth before.
No, that's him.
I've seen him for a while. Okay. No, I'm actually enjoying him sort of getting a kick out of it. And
he's trying to be a.
I know.
He's trying to be a soap star. He's like, baby, I think I missed my calling. Forget overseeing a hospital.
Yeah.
Get me into the soaps.
I am kind of enjoying his silliness.
But I thought I for what it's worth, I thought the scene was fun. And again, my mind goes to, has there ever been a soap actor in real life knowing that they're about to get killed off and then being like, no, I'm not going to do this scene. And they had to like figure it, because now I'm like, well, Hattie has to be killed off. She didn't get in the elevator. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Is a double going to come in? So, listen, while there are things that could be better with this storyline, fan with open arms, because it's also cut to, again, this whole thing with Johnny.
Throw it out.
I don't mind it as much. Well,
side note, just a little shout out to Robert Scott Wilson.
Yes. Ooh. Yes.
Because let me tell you something. If in my dream he stood at the doorway and said what he said and then got in bed, I might have would have.
You just scooted over from your husband.
But see, I don't even like. You're taking something that I already don't like, and you're making it something I like even less, because the drama that it's leading to is like
unnecessary.
Yes, it's completely unnecessary. The whole constantly dwelling on the threesome is a disservice to Johnny and Chanel, and quite frankly, it's just a disservice to the moment itself. Way back when it actually happened, we were applauding the tactful way it was done. We were applauding the that it was a first. We were applauding that it was professional. We were applauding that it was intimate without having to lead to too much contrived drama. And now we're bringing it back. What is it? 2 years later? And it is being used as something that was icky, as something that was as a contrived plot point, almost.
I don't think it was icky. I think it's the wonderment of, if you were able to be so intimate with him so freely back then, are there any feelings still, any residue feelings? And to me, I feel like as a couple, as all the stuff that they've been through post that, like the threesome happened when they didn't even they weren't even into each other like that.
Exactly.
And so it's almost like the past. It's almost as if like Johnny and Chanel are walking through Horton Town Square and you run into like a previous hookup, and then now all of a sudden you're just dwelling on the fact that like, oh, are you going to get back together with them? It's like, no, we just saw them in Horton Town Square. I'm going home with you.
Yeah, it's like, you're married. This is a guy she hooked up with one time. She was in a full-on relationship living with his sister.
Right.
See, that's the thing. I think I actually don't mind this as much. I think that if Chanel hadn't had the threesome with Alex, I don't think this would be an issue for Johnny. I think as of right now, the way they're playing it, and I actually hope they continue this and they don't go down an affair path where none of us, I think, want that. But I like that they're focusing on Johnny's insecurity because he, his relationships with Chanel over the past, I don't know, 5 years, they have been about her having feelings for someone else, preferably, namely his sister. There's been some back and forth between them. I get the insecurity he has, and I think it stems from the fact that she did have the threesome with Alex. I think if that didn't happen, I don't think he would be feeling this way. But it's again his insecurity of someone else possibly coming into their relationship, who she's been intimate with, and messing up what they have. Not completely rational, but I get it from a sort of person who's insecure and maybe may lean toward being jealous. I think this is probably the most realistic thing that out of Body and Soul is a man being jealous of his wife now being intimate on screen with someone who she previously had been intimate with.
But you know who would have been better to stir that jealousy up again?
Hmm.
Allie.
That part.
This I think this would have
Mm-hmm.
been a little more believable if suddenly Allie came back in town, and it wasn't a thing at all until maybe they were hanging out more, and it makes Johnny revert back to when she had to choose between him and Allie, and she went with Allie, and then that didn't go, and then she went back. So I could see that more so than Alex, because I feel like the growth of Chanel as a character, Chanel back then was footloose and fancy free.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Chanel now is a little more grounded. So for him to be jealous of Alex, I'm like, mm-mm.
I see your point, Tony, and I get it. I think one thing they haven't sort of addressed yet, and this is sort of in the ether, but it's also the thing of it's one thing to not dismiss Allie, because again, she has been a big part of their relationship, but there's something about it being Alex, another male, who is a direct competition with Johnny, if you get what I'm saying. It's one thing to, you know what I mean? It's one thing to have a partner who's bisexual and you could say, oh, they're going for the other. Now she's not going for the other. Alex is equivalent to Johnny, and if you get what I'm saying, he's the equivalent to Johnny, not necessarily in terms of personality. I'm talking about in terms of being a male. I think that lends a different weight than if it were maybe not Allie, because there's so much history there, but if it were another woman, like if say Chanel was playing a bisexual character on the show or a lesbian on the show, I don't think this would be an issue for Johnny. I think it's another male is the issue.
Then I feel like because we don't see Alex and Chanel
Mhm.
interact, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until we knew something was coming up when all of a sudden they interacted in the Horntown Square, and then they had that argument, and it was about and it's like, okay, something's happening, and then they
Yeah.
got the audition, and it's like, oh, okay. I think if we had kind of there was some groundwork of like their relationship,
Mhm.
and then somehow we started being like, oh, Chanel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then them getting the role, like I think then it would have made more sense
Mhm.
for Johnny to be like, you know what, they've been getting close, which
Mhm.
I trust her. But then now it's like, oh, now they're being forced to be intimate. And what if that's gonna bring out some
Mhm.
feelings that are just sitting there because they have been so close. And listen, I also know that logically, if writers had time to plant seeds and do things,
Yeah.
then they would do that. Sometimes, you're driving down and it's like, and they gotta take us with and we just have to be like, that's how they got there.
Mhm.
I get that. I just think that the jealousy is kind of like, girl, why are you so jealous? And then for um, Seth Burns to be like, I wouldn't go in there because
Oh.
they're rehearsing lines, but I think they're rehearsing lines.
I
And
did.
then he walks in, and I'm like,
Ugh.
now listen,
that was a little, yeah.
there's Stephanie and there's Chanel.
Hello.
Well, I think they visually made it clear that he couldn't see the person.
But
I
then
could see Stephanie's arm.
I just,
Did you?
God, I
No, I thought
can't.
when they cut to his back, I thought it was just Alex. They didn't show a woman at all.
They didn't show a woman, but
Yeah.
if you look to the left, you could see
Oh,
Stephanie's
really? Okay.
arm. Oh yeah,
Okay.
honey, you know I'm a, but I mean, on top of that, like Chanel ain't that small to where, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I kind of like that it's irrational. And at this point, up until this point, it's really Johnny's issue. It's not,
Right.
they're not showing us Chanel and Alex like falling for each other. You know what I mean? At this point, it really is all about Johnny and how kind of crazed he is. That's why I'm hoping they stick that way and they don't have, you know, over the next couple weeks, we see, you know, Chanel and Alex getting closer or being not intimate, but, you know, getting a little sending mixed signals, we'll say. But I like the fact that it's sort of played as Johnny is being irrational. He's acknowledging it, even though he has these feelings.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Chanel is bent over on a different floor because she threw her back out. Something we can all relate to. Was she was just like, everything was fine, and then I went to pick up something, and I think I tweaked it. I'm like, girl, been there.
That was me 3 weeks ago. I threw my back out. It was out of commission for like 6-7 days. Like,
You gotta stretch every morning. Every morning.
Every
morning.
I stretch when I lay in bed, and I'm just like, good morning. And then I swing them legs open, and I go, oh.
I will admit, for a second, I didn't know where they were going with this storyline until the end when it was like, oh, she's away from set, so this is the excuse. But I was like, well, what are we getting here with like a random back issue for Chanel, a relatively young woman who. So I'm glad it just seems like it's just a little plot point, not this isn't the
It better be
something. Yeah, I'm hoping.
It better be a tiny plot point, a tiny misunderstanding, because if this leads to accusations and God forbid the end of their marriage, I'm gonna be like really over this? Really?
What's silly he would even think. I mean, like Seth is said that to him, which sent him down the path. But the fact that I'm hoping he doesn't actually think that Chanel. I mean, Johnny, come on.
Yeah. So that's just ugh.
But also, Alex and Stephanie, what y'all doing to do on set?
Okay, that's the unrealistic part for me.
That's the unrealistic part for you?
The fact that they would, Stephanie, as professional as she is, would just have random, not that she would sleep with Alex, like that I get. But on set, like I thought it was going to be them making out or something, not like they would actually be having sex on a set where anyone can walk in.
She's been hot in the tush.
Yes, lately. But nothing about this is good for Stephanie because it says that she's unprofessional. Yeah. It says that she is so hot and bothered that she really is not, that relationship with Everett really was not as serious as she made it out to be. And it also says that and from the perspective, from my perspective, it seems like you're putting them in a position of rushing it. Oh, I get it. They're mirroring what Alex and Chanel have been saying about their love scene. It's too fast. I'm saying that right now. It's too fast. If y'all think that Alex and Stephanie are so hot together and that they should be given a chance, okay, give them a chance. Don't throw them in the deep end and say that's the end. Build. Where is the build?
Well, there has been a build. She's been hoping and praying and wishing and hoping for Alex to give her that DIC.
I don't mind it. I mean, outside of them having sex on set, which is weird and wouldn't. I think that's a little far too gone for either one of them. I don't think either one the characters would do that. But having sex in general, I don't necessarily think it's rushed. I mean, they were in a relationship and things are they've been spending a lot of time together, and things have been stirred up, and yeah, I like them anyway as a couple. I'm glad that they're getting back together, hopefully. So I don't mind them.
I just so many things, and I don't want to be nitpicky. That's the thing. It's like no, like
you don't want to be
no,
nitpicky.
no. Look, in a world where Days right now seems like the sane soap, because I'm telling you, James Law Jr. is doing God's work covering some of the other shenanigans right now. Days is keeping me kind of sane at the moment. So that's so look, I'm gonna be like Derek Huff on Dancing with the Stars right now. I criticize because I care. Because I see this. I see we're going into our 60th anniversary. I see big things. I see big, beautiful things
Well, of course
in the
you see
days
big
of our
things.
lives
You know
future.
what's coming in 2025.
Yes, I know what's coming, but even beyond like the main stuff that we've already been, privy to and told and it's been announced, I still have hope for the other characters that are currently on the canvas. I want big things for them. I want Abigail to get her happy. Not Abigail. I want Stephanie to get her happy ending, because God knows I've been watching that character struggle for years, and it's annoying.
She got her happy ending
that lasts longer than 10 seconds.
Don't you dare talk about Alex like that.
And I want Johnny and Chanel to have a successful relationship. I want good things for these
They
characters.
will if Johnny stops being so jealous.
Yes,
That's something that's so old.
And that's the thing, is like, that's why I'm nitpicking. Like,
Also, you admit that you're nitpicking.
I said I don't want to. I didn't say that I wasn't. I don't want to be.
Rewind the tape.
I don't want to be nitpicky, but I have to be with this because it's like,
well, we gonna pray on it. Lastly, every time Leo talks about body and soul, bless you.
Okay.
Ooh, that sounds like they had a lot behind it.
Yeah, I'll take your vitamin C. The weather's changing.
Yeah.
Now every time I see Leo like discussing body and soul, like with Kate or by himself or whatever, I just think, Ron, is that you?
Oh, it's totally Ron. I mean, Leo's been this Ron stand-in for years, and other capacities too. I feel like
there's a part of me. Well, I mean, I would love this to happen. I don't know if it would. But when Ron's writing stops, I would love for him to come on Days on here, on Dishin Days, totally. And have like one final kiki where we can just ask him about body and soul, about his time there, like, just everything. And not in a way of like we're trying to like get the tea, but I just sometimes it's interesting to be like what inspired body and soul, and like, did you put a little bit of you and like, things that you've gone through like as a writer, like in that, like, are we getting a peek of
more insight?
Yeah, because I think also as fans, because we sit here all the time and we're like, they should have did it like this, and it's like, well, what if that script was written?
Yep.
And then it went to the producers and they were like, yeah, no, well, we kind of need to do this because of da-da-da-da. And then you got to go back and then it's like, it's not the story, but I had to make it work.
Well, we always talk about Ron gets all of the blame and none of the credit, at least in viewers' eyes, about everything that's wrong with the show has to do with writing. They think people think the head writer is the end all be all, which is not the case. And it's whatever we see is because it's what the head writer wanted. And that's just, I mean, we've had Ron talk about that before. It's not the case. We've had him come up here and say, I wanted to do that storyline that all of you wanted to do and message me constantly about, but the powers that be said no, or someone left the show, or someone got fired, and we had to quickly change course to deal with that, so that other people wouldn't be out of work and that they can have a viable storyline.
And we've seen that happen. Like, you know, when I feel like most recently, I think the last one that I can think of would be Camila Manos. When she decided not to, you know, renew her contract, it's like, okay, how do we quickly have her exit that would make sense in order to like reintroduce her. And
or the Ari stuff.
Like, you know, so
and even with like there were that like there are characters that come in and out that just don't want to be on contract. There are actors that aren't or can't be on contract because they're committed to other things. I'm thinking like of like Peter Porte, like that man is booked and busy. Remington Hoffman is booked and busy, and we would love to see them on our screens as much as we can, but they're committed to other things as well. So it's like, guys, it's not all on the writers. There's other things going on. People got lives. People have other commitments. People come in and out. So we get people when they can. And the thing about it is that Days is probably one of the few shows that actually does allow that, which I appreciate. That I don't mind characters coming in and out, people coming in and out to do that. That I think is what keeps things moving.
People moving in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, it gets a lot of flack for the 8-month advance, but also there's still some wiggle room in there to adapt things sometimes if they can help it.
All right. Well, I think we have done our part by talking about that storyline. Let's move on to our next storyline, which is Eric Brady, private investigator. I'm glad somebody's putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
I know, right?
I mean, this storyline going on and us knowing like Fiona did it, and we're just waiting and hoping that Sarah remembers. Like, and then okay, I'm just gonna say the name, and I want you guys to tell me what you think about them currently this week. EJ.
I do. Power trip.
Yeah. I feel like EJ's in an in-between space.
In between what?
Like, EJ does not do well when he has nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like, he has nothing of his own.
Or go after someone,
Yes. When EJ is in that space, when he doesn't have his own business, his own relationship, his own children to worry about, he starts putting his nose into other people's business a lot.
But what is his whole?
I'm bored. What is his whole shtick about putting Brady behind bars? It's I'm bored and I need someone to poke.
I think he's also looking for a win.
Like every other DA.
I was just going to say, like they used to see with Melinda sometimes, where it's like, I don't care about the truth. I just, I want to get this person because I need a win on my check, my board.
I was just like, how are you coming in boasting about the fact that you're going to get to send Brady to jail for 10 years? And then when Sarah's like, listen, I don't need you to release Brady. No. It's either him or you. It's like she's in a wheelchair.
I know. It's like, what judge is gonna, unless you paid one, what judge is gonna send a victim who's just recently paralyzed to jail for faulty memory? It's like, okay, this is a little weak, EJ, even for you.
I'm like that whole time he was talking, I was like, this is too much. Like, what? Like, girl, if you don't just go and take that statement and release Brady and then figure out who actually done did it so that you can actually look like a competent DA.
And that's the thing, because remember Brady not got off, but was sort of released before, and he was pissed about it. Then he felt like,
Yeah.
oh, Sarah remembered, I got to win here. Now it's like he doesn't want to let it go.
Well, girl, go sit down. What a mess.
Focus on
And then Brady's still sitting there. I deserve to be put away forever. It's like, you ain't do it. You don't even remember. You still don't remember. Why you act like you did it? Didn't somebody just tell you was with Fiona? You ain't ever thought that maybe Fiona was the one that drove that you ain't put the piece?
I know, yeah.
Of course not, because in the words of Michael Madden, my name is Brady and I'm dumb and I
But I do like Eric's role in this. I really do. And I like that he throughout this whole process has taken responsibility for his past mistakes and has counseled Brady in a way that I think only he could.
Yeah.
You know, to not make excuses, to not say, you know, that he shouldn't take responsibility, but just to say that something doesn't feel right about the situation and following up. And had it been that he went through this whole process and Brady was still guilty, he wouldn't have let Brady off the hook. It was just that something didn't feel right.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. It's giving him a purpose. Cause I mean, at some point you're like, why are you still here? Like, did you have not new wife, but a reunion to go back to, a child to go take care of on the other side of the world?
Yeah.
But I like how they're using him. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, like some things we know now, you know, things that were behind the scenes that, you know, are making, you know, it be that Eric does have to stay here and does have to be here for Brady, but I do think it gave him the opportunity to jog Sarah's memory in a way that another character wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say those scenes really built on their history without having to come in and say, "Remember when we were together 5 years ago?" Like there was no exposition needed. It was just, these are two people who care about each other. We know that they had a relationship in the past. We know that they still think fondly of one another and respect each other, and it informs the scene, which I did not only this week, but the one they had previously, I think last week too, was really good.
Yes.
Yeah. Brady wouldn't be in this predicament if Fiona would just.
But you know what? I feel like this week, finally, we're seeing the real Fiona.
Oh, the way that she was interacting with Sophia in the
that was weird. Yeah.
It was almost like, first of all, I wanted to be like, Sophia, you can't kiki with this old woman.
Yeah. I liked, I mean, not like that scene, but I liked their first scene. I was like, oh, are they like developing a, like, not mother-daughter thing here, but a little, are they going to be scene partners in the future? Are we going to see them together? And then it took a turn this week.
I should have said older woman, not old woman, older woman. I just want to correct myself in saying older woman because Sophia is high school.
Yeah.
But
Fiona is a mature
she's
woman.
Desperate for somebody to approve of her bad misdeeds, and Fiona was that person until she realized that Fiona's on another level.
You cannot tell anyone that I had a martini on the rocks. Don't you tell Sophia was looking at her like, girl, you crazy.
Yeah.
But okay.
Can you guys remind me what preceded that put her in that funk? I'm trying to remember, like, what immediately, because remember, she's been even keeled with this for the most part about Brady taking the rap, but it was something that happened that made
Sophia mentioned that the relationship she was trying to get in the middle of was Holly and Tate, and when Fiona realized that she was talking about Holly and Tate and that she lives in the same house as Holly and Tate is Brady's son, and all she connected the dots and realized that all it would take would be for Sophia
Yeah.
to make some flippant comment to Tate about how she was friends with this woman who ordered a martini. And all it would take would be for Tate to connect the dots and say that Fiona was having a drink with Brady. Because remember, up until this point, Brady has not said anything about Fiona drinking with him. It's been assumed that Fiona was sober, hanging out with a drunk Brady.
Oh, but that's what I'm thinking. Not that part, but it was the stuff with Eric. That's what
stuff with Eric. Yeah,
because she was. Yeah, that's because she was kind of in a weird funk before that. Yeah, that's what.
She was in a weird funk, but she was willing to listen to Sophia up until that point.
Yeah, because Eric was very much like,
with Eric.
"Hi, Fiona.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about that night. Well, the waiter
like someone's on to me. Yeah.
Oh, did you know? And it's like she's like, close. Close. Then as she's trying to like go home, then Sophia is kind of like, "Hey, girl," and wants to, and she's like, "Girl, not today." And then she realizes that in that moment that like that's someone else that knows about her drinking. But Eric didn't waste no time. Eric called Sarah. Did y'all notice? Sometimes when you watch episodes back to back, you realize y'all forgot something. Because the episode before, Sarah wheeled in and Eric walked in and she said, "Oh, I missed your call. I was just going to call you back." And then the next day, it was like that phone call never happened. I said, "Oh, who forgot?"
Oh, they did they posted
who
the
forgot?
Scene.
Who forgot? But Eric didn't waste no time. Eric was like, "Are you covering for your mother-in-law?" Right, Sarah's looking like, "What you talking about? What am I covering? Why would I cover up for her? I'm in a wheelchair.
It was so
I'm having
funny.
trouble picking up the toy for Victoria, and she's over here crying." Which also, side note, now Sarah, you could have wheeled that wheelchair over. You could have picked up the toy, and then like it's like a.
But also, Sarah needs, those. I'm not trying to be flippant here or cute, but those grab things that older elderly people use. I know. I was like, why doesn't Sarah have one of those night out? Why isn't she
wants to be independent?
What do you mean older?
Underneath,
everyone should have one.
But I was like, even if she was able-bodied, she still have to lean down, get on her hands and knees, and reach under the table. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you wouldn't have reached that anyway. So like you should have had your little grabber.
That's what I mean. Like everybody should have one of those, even if you're able-bodied. There's always something that falls in a corner, that falls in between. Like the phone that falls in between the in the car, in between the seat and the console, and you're like, I can't.
I will put my car in park. And poor Kristen, she's trying. Lord, she is trying. She is trying to get that man out of jail. She is teasing Xander and Sarah with this serum from Dr. Rolfe, and everything is messing up because EJ and Xander and Sarah are trying to keep it like it's like Xander, did you forget about your diabolical ways?
I did like that he referenced when they were sort of going head to head. I liked when he said like, "You owe Sarah for what you did to her with the Renee stuff." I did like that because I was like, when is that going to be brought up? Like she kind of does owe Sarah. Like, so it wouldn't be Kristen if she caved then and gave her the serum, but I did like that they at least mentioned it and sort of. I wouldn't say it weakened her or hit her, but I think she did take a step back of like, I'll acknowledge it, but you're still not getting the serum. Like I probably do owe her, but a deal's a deal.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that when the truth comes out, I mean, I do think that Kristen will hold up her end.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Or I don't know why Xander doesn't go right to Brady.
I think that
tells Kristen to get
one way or another. One way or another, Sarah's getting out of that wheelchair.
Yeah.
Well, Suddenly, I imagine her getting the needle and just being like, and just getting up.
Mm.
At least I'm at least hoping that they don't keep her paralyzed. I mean,
Not
let's
much
move
longer.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond
Look, at least we have comfort in knowing it is crazy Dr. Rolf that will help her and not some magical begonia.
uh,
Well, the begonia was used on Cassandra.
Mm.
Can we talk about
No.
how unbothered Maggie was during this? How both nosy and unbothered she was by the Tate stuff at the end. I was like, oh, this is a new scene to have Tate talk to Maggie about this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Not Maggie calling him out. I love when I love when Maggie does it in particular because we always get we're used to the gentle Maggie, we're used to the understanding Maggie, and so those times when she just calls people out, I live for.
I loved her. I loved her defending Holly, but also part of me was like, "Girl, Maggie, you was conned 2 weeks ago, girl. Like, stop! Don't get on Tate, this teenage boy, because he may possibly like this other girl, which she was spot on about. But I was like,
Look,
girl,
let's be clear.
not
She
conned.
was conned by a con artist. This is a little girl.
No, it's similar though. The stakes are similar. For someone like Maggie, it would take Constantine. For someone like Tate, it would take Sophia. It's different levels, but same.
Let me
You
tell
know.
you, Maggie was conned by a man pretending to be a con artist who everybody saw through
Exactly.
except
I
her.
know, right? Exactly.
Tate is in a stage of life where he is feeling things that he has never
Yeah.
felt before.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Lord.
there is somebody who is willing to explore those feelings right now.
Yeah. If Sophia
That's
was
his
not
dilemma.
conventionally attractive, Tate would not be in this situation. It's totally his hormones are raging. This is why
Raging.
he's allowing Sophia to sort of come in. And then it was like, what was it? He said, "Oh, my friend Sophia now." Like he kept saying, "My friend Sophia."
Now they friends.
Oh, I
They
know.
about to
Pretty
be
funny.
real close friends.
Okay, at this point, I don't even feel sorry for him. He gets what he gets.
I gotta say, I don't mind it. If they keep on this path with those two, I could see them together. I don't mind it.
Sophia and Tate?
Yeah. At
I
least
mean,
like for the most part, things are out on the table now. Like, yeah, she sort of, I wouldn't say completely lied, but she sort of fudged the truth about Holly slapping her and why she did it. So I mean, she's still up to her old tricks, but also she's upfront about her feelings for him and saying, "I want you." She made a move on him. Like everything's primarily out in the open now.
my question is, do we still root for Tate and Holly when they've been through all that they've been through? Or do we just say, you know what? Let's put a pin in them, and maybe when they're older, they come back around.
I think it's both. I don't mind the pin in them for right now because they both have a stuff that they got to figure out separately, and that's fine. And if in like a few months they figure that stuff out and they
A
still
few
want to be
months.
together, weeks, months, whatever.
I wasn't thinking weeks or months. I was thinking when they grown and got a job
Oh,
at Titan and stuff.
I do not think it's going to be that long. I really don't. I think that
I just feel like they've been through too much. They've been
Yeah.
through too much.
they've been through
too
a
much,
lot.
and they break up because she went snooping and like there are a number of reasons
Well,
they
that's
shouldn't
why-
even been together.
And that's why I think it's not going to be that long. If that was their start and they got through that part, then the rest of this is just silly stuff that they're going to get through very quickly. I don't think it's going to be that long, but I do think they need a pause to just figure their own stuff out.
Yeah.
Holly can't,
When they
like,
become
Holly
grown
got
and have
hit.
dated other people.
No, Holly got hit with a lot. I'm not going to minimize that. She got hit with a lot in
As
a
far
matter
as
of,
discovering that Eric was the one that killed her dad.
yeah, she got hit with a lot. at once.
Moving away.
Yeah, she needed time to process that. I really don't think that she could process that with anyone but her mom.
Who
So
we
she
didn't
needed
see.
that.
who had a very intimate conversation with Holly during the commercial break. We
Who?
missed Nicole and Holly's commercial break. Heartfelt.
Yeah, I saw her. Oh, you did?
I was like, wait, what?
You did? You already talked to her? And then my other thing was like, is Holly gonna see Chad and Abifail in Paris?
Well, evidently so.
Hmm.
I'm trying to. I mean,
And I don't know why it didn't
Let's
click.
see.
They're supposedly in the same city. I don't know why that didn't click.
yeah. Also, I mean, they've never been particularly close, right? I'm not missing a familial connection outside of the step family, right? There's no
No, there's
Holly.
none.
Yeah. Okay. Holly's not related to Abigail or
No,
Abifail in any way.
no.
And the stuff with Chad is just through EJ, right? Through EJ. Okay.
Yep.
I was trying to remember. I saw them being in the same place, and I was like, oh, I was trying to remember if there was a connection between them outside of just the general.
Yeah, no, it's all weird.
Salemites, yeah. Hmm.
All right. Well, I guess that's that storyline, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty much it.
Speaking of.
All right. Well, an important message. Don't go chasing or falling over waterfalls. I wanted to be like, who wrote this?
What?
This
Oh,
whole
the
story
dialogue.
about them recreating
This
TLC.
is the one you say?
I was like as Chad was telling the story, I was like, who came up with this? Like, who came up with TLC? And she's like, oh, you're a left eye. He was like, chili. I'm a chili. I'm like, and y'all recreating.
And I said chili because she's the pretty one. I did chuckle at that one.
I said, now this right here, this is writing.
I actually, you know what's funny though? I saw people making that sort of not joke, but observation. But I was like, you know what? I could see Marcy's Abigail doing this.
Of it?
Yeah, I could. I guess I can see Kate Manzi's too, but I lean more towards Marcy's version of Abigail.
Well, you know why? Because when Marcy was Abigail, we got the belly dance with her and
Oh,
Camila.
that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah, I could totally see.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I could totally see Marcy's.
Oh my gosh.
See,
and getting Chad and the kids to recreate it. I could totally see doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, sometimes things are just forgotten.
Mm-mm-mm.
I forget too.
I don't want to forget good things.
I still picture because I it might have got my 3 snaps of work because I was like, yeah, y'all better come in.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I want Clyde to have had a better reason for doing this.
I know this is still very.
Oh gosh.
And I want Clyde to have had, because he's Clyde, having a more sealed tight plan for this, because it's like, what are you doing with their mama? And why do you have her? And what so and then now you wanted the Demerara fortune, which like can easily happen, but now you want Chad dead? Like, what are we like? Do you have too much time on your hands in jail?
Evidently.
I will give them credit. They did answer one question of why we were like, oh, why is it Abigail? Now it makes sense because it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Because if it's Abigail, then he also gets out of jail. So I was like, okay,
Yes.
that makes that sort of makes it. Because remember, I think a couple weeks ago we were like, why wouldn't she just be a con artist who he wanted to marry Chad and whatever and sort of steal his money. But now it makes sense if for her to be Abigail, because it kills two birds with one stone essentially.
And I thought that was smart.
Yeah, that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I did like that.
Smart. Get the money. Get your mama. Everybody, let's move on.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like.
But the demure fortune of like, I mean, like.
But also, you ain't got no money.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you got all these people doing stuff for you, and you ain't got no money.
I mean, not that I want this to be the reason, but I kind of also thought it would be like. I mean, he's always hated Chad because of the Ben stuff, but I feel like they're completely like not even bringing that up. Like he's always hated Chad and wanted to hurt Chad over that and Abigail essentially. So I thought maybe that would factor into it, but now we're not mentioning Ben anymore apparently. So
we don't talk about Ben Weston, no. We don't talk about Ben Weston. Even though he's Alex, we don't talk about Ben no more. Even though he's Alex, we don't talk about
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I and then like as this now in Paris, and then once again she's like, I remember, and I'm like. She's like, well, I don't remember, but I remember the feeling. And I'm like,
Tony, I think you're going out.
Like, badly.
Yeah.
My bad.
We can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
You're frozen.
Oh, we were so close. It hadn't happened in a while.
I know.
But I guess we have come to the end. We have come to the end of Tony's non-freezing streak.
You might have to go out and come back in. Yeah.
If he
I can't hear anything.
Not happening.
Yeah. So what did you think about the storyline, Araceli? What did you?
Yeah, again, it will be Michael Mattis in the sense of I can't believe that it's Clyde causing all this damn chaos, that we're supposed to believe that Clyde Weston is this grand puppet master who is pulling all of these strings. I guess the drug ring made sense for what it was, but to believe that he has got, he's roped in this family who we still know next to nothing about their past.
Yeah.
That he somehow got that there's somehow John is connected to all of this, and he picked John up out of the clear blue sky in Greece and brought him to Papa. Well, you know what I mean? It's that he is the grand puppet master behind all this is just silly.
I have a feeling that they really truly love. Is it James Remar?
James Reed.
James Reed. That's right.
James Remar.
James Remar's the other guy who plays baddies and shows and stuff, but that's why. James Reed. I feel like they really love him, but they're getting. I don't want to say they're doing the Nick situation, but they if they're gonna keep him around and make him the big bad villain, which again they keep doing every couple of years, they need to bring him on the show. They need to legitimize him somewhat so that he's around and and viable on the show. And then like have him be the big bad if that's what you're doing, but like put some story into it.
Yeah.
Like the stuff when he was on before where he was sort of trying to go straight and he was working for Roman, then he was getting involved with Nancy, like expand his character a bit and keep him as the big bad because you obviously like the guy, but bringing him out every 2 years, doing a storyline, then sending him back to jail. It's like lather, rinse, repeat. Like just bring him on the show, make him the new, but also build it up so that we don't have these questions where we're like, Clyde's the mastermind, Clyde's doing this, hillbilly Clyde. Like,
don't like
give
it.
him some more substance and make him the big bad then.
Don't like it. Don't want it.
Well, here's the thing. I think if they're trying to make him like the next Victor Stefano. But the like that's fine, But I agree with you, Justin. Just like bring him on the show and
Yeah.
just build him a story. Let him be, the big bad wolf and like causing terror, like Victor and Stefano used to do for
Mhm.
the people of Salem. Maybe he's concentrating on other people, whatever it is. But just at the end of the day, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make
Make
sense because
make
to go through this, you could have hired somebody in Poplar Bluff who was just really good at tech to drain their accounts, and like
Yeah,
suddenly
yeah,
you have
right.
the
I
Demer
know. I
fortune.
know.
Like you had to go through finding someone to pretend to be Abigail, stealing their mama, wanting her to marry Chad
Yeah.
to steal the money. But now you want Mark to kill Chad because her being a widow. Like it, if 2 + 2 = 4 and 5 + 5 = 5,
And
Clyde's current plan does not compute or make sense.
also, correct me if I'm wrong. Was anyone else a little confused? Because I'm like, okay, if she's supposed to be Abigail, then they're already married. Is he trying to make it the reveal? Do you know what I'm saying? Is the point that she's so whoever Green and that Green is married to Chad and so Green gets the money? Like I'm confused about
Yeah,
the whole. That's what I was confused about. I was like, is that what he's trying to do? Because I was like, they're already married. So what is the barrier here to her getting access to these? Like it didn't make that part didn't make sense to me unless they're trying to say he's going to after Chad's death, she would reveal who she is and say, I'm still legally his wife. So she gets the money. Like I didn't understand that part of the plot.
yeah. So basically, it's the Clyde part of this that I think we're all kind of like, it's making us like itchy. But I will say that's the only part of this that I'm really kind of about. The Greens, and I'll say this again, that family, there's something about them
Yeah.
that just sucks me in.
Mhm.
I believe that they're good people at heart. I believe that they have a strong bond. I believe they have what it takes to be on the canvas for years to come. There's something about them that just sucks me in.
Yeah.
They're a great family, and there's a lot that could have been built upon. But here we are.
I know it, and I do think that no, I think that there's plenty of time to build upon it, and I think that because this storyline has been kind of amped up, and we're gonna get to see, I guess, things progress quicker than I anticipated. I do think that we're actually going to get the opportunity to really dive into, hopefully soon, dive into who these people really are
Yeah.
and get answers. I don't know if we'll get all the answers that we want right away. But again, this is a thing where good acting and good characters, you're okay with waiting
Yeah.
a little bit. That being said, I'm glad that it seems like we're progressing.
I mean, Annalyn is killing it. She
Mm-hmm.
and her chemistry with Billy is really, really great.
It's
Really,
good.
really great.
But
Yeah.
that's what I hate though, is that like I would have loved for her to come on as someone else and
Mhm.
have fallen for Chad, because now I feel like when all is revealed, it's like you faked being his dead wife. Like
See, I don't think it's game over for them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's room for some redemption there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that maybe whoever she is, Abifail, I think that it may not be over for her in Chad Demira
mm,
sometime in the future.
mm,
Again, it's because there's something about her that I think. I think part of it, when all is revealed, I think he's gonna like, initially go into his rant and stuff about
Yeah.
like how it's all her fault and blah blah blah. But I would question that part of it. Part of why Chad so easily believes this is not just the DNA test and not just because he wants Abigail to be alive. There is genuine chemistry
Mhm.
between them. And I think he senses that deep down she's a good person.
Yeah, I
Girl,
also
deep
think
down inside, he thinks that this is Abigail. He doesn't think this ain't somebody he met
I
off the
think that's
street.
what he's telling himself. I think
yeah,
that he too easily believed the DNA test because he wants so desperately for Abigail to be alive, and because he
Yes,
sees that this person isn't malicious at heart.
he still thinks it's Abigail.
I also think if anyone could forgive Abifail for this with time, I think it would out of anyone of the Demira family, it's definitely Chad. And I also
Yeah,
think he could understand her predicament with time. So that's why
I
I'm thinking it's not a game over for them just yet.
I also thought that when they kissed, I thought he was going to pull away and go, no,
Oh.
and
like have doubts.
that's why like there's something there with them.
I
She's
agree. I think deep down he not that he consciously knows it's not her, but I think there is a part of him that doesn't believe it's her. I
yeah.
think he's suppressing that because of the DNA evidence and because he wants it to be her and he wants his wife to be alive. But I think there's a part of him subconsciously that knows she's not Abigail.
I almost wish that when Thomas and Charlotte walked in,
Hmm.
that the reveal did happen because I would love to see their reaction.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't. Because I think that would lend itself to her to any eventual forgiveness to say I did my best to keep the kids out of it.
Oh, okay. I see that.
But now she want to get married.
I
But now she want to
yeah,
get married.
Mhm.
I
But
think
now
she's
she want to
hope
get married.
I think she's hoping that it
But
will
now she
not
want to
get
get
that far.
married.
Look, I don't think it's going to get
She
that
want to
far.
get married over a feeling.
It's not going to get that far.
uh,
Hmm.
yeah.
Um.
Just keep
All
her
right.
around but as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that story unfolds because there's a lot going on there. I also side note before we exit stage left out of this um, storyline, I kept feeling like Julie
Yeah.
was going to say because when she was talking with Maggie about it and was like Abigail was really cold to me, I kept thinking like even if you don't remember like things, I
Mhm.
think you as a shell of a person still doesn't change.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, Abigail would have been like to Julie, even if she
Hmm.
didn't remember Julie. Like it's just this like this feeling that you have, you know. I mean, even to get a little even more deeper, it's like, you know, if you believe in past lives and you meet someone and you're like, I feel like I've known this person.
Hmm.
Like it
Part
just
of
never
me is
goes.
wondering, and I'd love to. Hopefully, we can interview and record sometime in the future. But I'm curious if those are beats that either she is doing or the writing is telling her not to do, so
Hmm.
that that's a clue that she's uncomfortable with this. Do you know what I mean? If that is them just writing her as being standoffish, or if that is we want Abifail to not fully go for this because she in her heart knows that it's wrong, or you know
I don't know.
yeah, I'm
It's a lot
curious.
happening.
Yeah.
It's a lot going
But I mean, in real life, though, would it like these people are expecting weight? I mean, if she really was Abigail, it's like, girl, give her a break. Like, she's been in town maybe a month. Like, she doesn't remember any of you people. Just you standing in front of her being like, remember me? I'm so and so. It's like,
on.
that means nothing to her.
And y'all done been through this before many a
I know, but
times.
how many
Many a
other
times.
characters have lost their memory over the years?
If
Or
anything,
the Horn family.
everybody should have a serum at their house for something. Oh, you don't have your memory? You know
Yep.
what like
Yeah.
I also thought about this. Like what like if Clyde was as diabolical as a Stefano or Victor,
Mhm.
if he had someone like Rolf on his
Yeah,
team
yeah, right.
and they like injected her with or implanted
Or gave her
somehow
a chip with the memories or something. Yeah.
to where even she's like, wait, I'm remembering. And then she's like,
Hmm.
am I? Like she even starts
That
questioning
even could have been
herself.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least even if she knew she wasn't Abigail but had the memories and was trying to like play the memories out in externally would kind of be interesting too. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Well,
all right. Well, that was your week. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was your top storylines. Before we get into our tidbits, just want to remind you guys. Make sure you follow us on social media. We're Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, X, and Threads. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are listening to us on the podcast, come on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. And if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, go on over there and find us on your favorite podcast stations. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, make sure you show some love to JLJ Media on YouTube and wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, if you're still with us, please tell us your thoughts. And we want to hear from all of you. So make sure you comment below if you're watching later. Now we are on to tidbits. Psst. Have you heard about Stabby? Dead.
Dead.
uh,
Or other.
I only have one thing to say. Divorce.
just talk about two people who can't get out of their own way.
Yeah. Yep. The definition of them. Yep.
Like,
But great scenes though.
yeah, great
really
scenes.
great scenes.
Just come on, guys.
I mean, I feel like this is a moment where like they probably need a break.
Yeah.
She done been in jail. he done did Ava. She done did EJ. There's all this combativeness. It should be ding ding. You guys go to your separate court. I don't think divorce is where they should go, but I think a separation.
Yeah, that would have
is what should happen.
I could have seen that too, a separation, and then if the other people, if Ava and EJ come into that and things change, it would have been interesting. But yeah, it sort of with divorce, it sort of makes it final now of like, okay, we can open these people up to something. But I did like that in their talks, they both said like, I can't get it out of my head, you with this other person and vice versa. So I did like that part of it, that it wasn't just antagonistic of you hurt me, now it's revenge and plotting and all that kind of stuff. It was, I really don't see myself getting over this anytime soon and vice versa.
Yeah. And it's real, but like, work it out.
Well, guess what? They can't work it out.
Anything can be worked out if you want to work it out. And that's the thing, is they want to work it out.
If Holly and Tate at their young age can work out the fact that Holly left Tate in jail.
They need to take a clue from Holly and Tate, who are now broken up. But
okay.
And I like shout out to Melinda, girl power. She was like, "Listen,
oh yeah,
Stefan wants me to deliver the divorce stuff and be. If you don't want me, to out." And she was like, "No."
That was really nice.
He needs a lawyer.
I love that we're using Melinda so much more now. I love that, like, playing on her past flirtation with Stefan, really getting her into the corporate scene. This is how we use this woman.
I do. Was it me or did anyone else think Gabi was going to hire EJ after that? I thought it was going to be a little like a little poke at Stefan or something.
No, I feel like she's at a place where she wants resolution and what's best for both of them.
No, I'm glad it didn't come that way, but
and I love that. I mean, I think she mentioned she had already obtained a lawyer. So but that's pretty much it with that.
Yeah. Oh, and then we had Ava is now back at the bistro
after the locks have been changed.
After her very good conversation with her BFF Roman Brady now.
Well, but also Roman said something about, or no, she said, well, anyone can go upstairs, and I'm like, who?
Oh yeah, I know. I was like, can you change that? Like you can,
you can just go upstairs. Like, can you imagine me just walking to the Brady pub and be like, do. But also, my other question is, let's say Ava has slipped into something more comfortable, has had a little sip of wine, and she's like, "Come on over." Then she has like room, walk downstairs, walk up, open the door, lock it back, walk it in.
Oh no, you're breaking up again. I don't think we.
No,
No.
am I broke? It's hearing.
You're breaking
Barely.
up.
It's
I'll
breaking up too. The sound, yeah.
be back.
That's a,
Guys, the streak was so good while it lasted. I do feel like we got like a solid good streak of like at least 6 weeks where Tony
yeah.
didn't break up or
That's
freeze.
all right. He'll be back in a minute.
Yeah.
But no, I think there's. I mean, I think they're leaning more towards the Stefan stuff, Stefan and Ava, than they are EJ and Gabby. But who knows if now
Who
that
knows?
she's free and out of the
Mhm.
house, part of me thought EJ was gonna offer to her to stay there, kind of like please don't leave the house, stay here, kind of a thing. So I was surprised when she went back and like packed her bags and then and left essentially. I thought she was going to stay in the mansion, and
Oh, yay. That's ridiculous.
but I'm okay with them taking a break. I mean, now's probably the time to do it. We have Sherry sort of settling into the role. I like her chemistry with EJ. I kind of like Stefan and Ava. I don't mind them.
I don't mind them. It's just, yeah, this is like one of those things that's like drama. To me, it's like drama for drama's sake, you know? This is one of those problems that could be easily solved with a good therapist.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah. I'm right with a break for them for now. I mean, if they end up together a year or two from now, cool. But
yeah, I mean, I think they're always going to be endgame.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like when they always telegraph. I don't know. That's my big like gripe with soaps in general. That people are telegraphed as endgame, or it's like especially for days when the main couple is John and Marlena, which were the secondary choice and not. So I always feel like lead into that a little bit more. Like let chemistry between the actors take hold.
Well, that I think is what makes Endgame is chemistry is unmatched chemistry.
But like we would have never known Deidre had chemistry with Drake if he was never allowed to have. You know what I mean? Like we have to see an alternative in order to know if there's better chemistry with. I do agree that I think it's different though. I think the chemistry with Brandon and Sherry is still there. I just think it's different than what he had.
Okay, I give you that. Yeah. And mind you, I don't say Endgame like willy-nilly. I can count literally on my hand the couples in the last 20 years that I think are Endgame. And I'm not talking 80s couples because those are different. Those are like before I was born. Those are staying the way they are, whether they're on screen or off. That's just what they are. But I'm talking about like couples created in the last 20 years. I can count on my hand the ones that I really think are there.
Yeah.
And I think we're rambling because Tony is still not back with us.
I mean, there isn't too much to the storyline, but I'm hopeful I'm down for a Stefan Ava pairing and a Gabby EJ pairing. I'm down for both.
Yeah.
I'm down for more Ava just in general.
But you see what I mean about how like silly storylines like this can blossom into couples that you didn't expect. And I feel like in this scenario, that the potential Stefan and Ava pairing and the potential EJ Gabby pairing is more believable because of history, because of the way it's been set up.
Yeah.
As opposed to earlier when we were talking about the whole Johnny and Chanel and Alex and Stephanie stuff,
Mhm.
which I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that just came out of left field.
It's definitely a little clunkier than the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, clunky is the right word.
Yeah. Plus, we've had, I mean, not, I would say it's not exactly the same because he was playing a different character, but we have seen Tamara and Brandon together on the show as a couple. And so it eases things a little, I think.
And yeah, I mean, there's history, but I didn't see the chemistry between Ava and Jake the way I see it necessarily.
Right.
No, I take that back. I'm sorry. I take that back. There was chemistry. There was Ava and Stefan did not have chemistry, at least couple wise in the beginning. They had that antagonistic chemistry.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hi, I'm back
Hey.
because I have very bad internet.
Yeah.
Over.
It's okay. We've run out of things to talk about with this.
Well, perfect. Well, let's move on to our favorite part of our show and get through this quickly so that I don't freeze out again. And we have reached our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's Official. Gosh, I almost set myself up. And then I was going to forget. And now I'm ready. Which is Tony's Official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap! Oh, snap!
All right. My 3 Snaps Award goes to the inch-eye private eye himself, Eric Brady. That's right. Eric is on the case and he's going to find out who really.
Oh, no, I thought you were pausing for dramatic effect. Oh no, Tony. He is going crazy right now. I know behind this he's flipping out.
We might have to finish the show without Tony.
Well, we don't have any capabilities, so I don't know how. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Visual, we might have no visuals, but we can do the rest, but not without the visuals.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. So I will re-emphasize to our audience that we are pre-recorded. So I'm not sure if that's better or worse in this scenario right now.
It's just, and it looks like it's probably not the computer. It looks like it's more the internet, which
okay,
hopefully will come back on.
Good gracious, good gravy! Oh my goodness! Okay. To our audience, we apologize for the multiple delays that you will see on today's recording. Life happens, and it's just unfortunate that it's happening right now.
This is what happens when you do, well, to you it's not live, but to us it's live. So we are essentially doing a live show and whatever technical difficulties. It's also very hot here in LA today. And I don't know about you guys, but that always affects my internet. I'm actually surprised mine is working good today.
Hot. Today is the first day that I feel like it's finally dying down. We're finally going to start to get fall weather in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Got my candles going. I was going to say let's burn some sage, but this is about as good as we're going to get.
Yeah. There was Tony's 3. I don't know if I should move on to mine or if he's popping right back up.
He never actually got to say 3 Snaps Award.
But anyway, it seems like perfect fit for Eric. This for Greg Vaughn to kind of take some center stage and step in while, listen, Rafe's in recovery. Jade is busy solving every other case and also tending to her man who's come home. So she's a little busy. So you need an Eric Brady to step in and take charge here.
I think Tony just gave him the 3 snaps because he's got that smoldering detective look.
He was very good. I know we touched on it earlier, but yeah, this is that they're giving Greg Vaughn something substantial to kind of work with and do.
Yes.
I think we almost have Tony back here. I think so.
So how's life, guys?
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
This is where we would go to the comments and everything, but because we're not live, we don't have that. So yeah, Tony.
Am I
Hey,
back? Am I back?
you're back. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Let's move quickly.
It's so funny. We thought you were doing a dramatic pause when you were.
No. All right. And well, you saw it was Greg Vaughn, Eric Brady. That was my Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh snap!
Oh, snap!
There we go. And we don't have a caption that because Michael Mattis is not here. And if I'm going too fast, it's because I'm trying to make sure my internet doesn't go out. But now it's time for
Those were the days.
All right, quickly here. I'm taking you guys back to October 9th, 2015. A day you may not remember from the date, but that lives in infamy as the day that Ben Weston unfortunately murdered Will Horton, here played by the so talented Guy Wilson in this iteration. This was such a like monumental, I think, hit. This is one of those storylines that you'll remember as being like, wow, like really terribly shocking that they actually killed off a substantial character like Will during this whole necktie serial killer storyline. And I think the powers that be realized what they did, and that's why within 2 years we had the character sort of resurrected and brought back in the form of Chandler Massey. So
we were devastated.
yes, we were. I still remember the show that you guys did, Dishin Days, when it happened, and just I'll say the reserved disgust that everyone had and what that meant for killing of this character and what they ultimately would do with the other gay characters on the show. So this was sort of a little bit of a domino effect. But again, October 9th, 2015, when Ben Weston killed Will Horton.
And
those were the days.
And now it's time for It's a Gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to the one and only Julie Williams, pulling off the grandma looks, as I say.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that Leo like spilled the beans.
Oh, to the kids. Yeah.
And then kudos to him for covering it up though, because he was like, I am a fairy. Julie, but going back to that really quick, they had a point. Like you can't keep floating around town and people know, and like the kids are eventually gonna know. So
exactly.
Anyway. Well, that was It's a Gift.
Oh God, that scared me.
Right. And now it's time for News and Gossip.
Okay, starting off with news and gossip, we have some casting news. We have a return of the lovely, talented friend of the show, Miss Patricia Darbo, who is coming back as Nancy. And she is also bringing the highly anticipated daughter of hers, Joy Wesley, in the form of actress Alex Ann Hopkins, who will be taking over the role of Joy Wesley, who we have not seen since, I believe, 2005 as a toddler when she left the show. And then we will actually see this pair show up in Salem the week of October 22nd. So yeah, something to look forward to. Not October 2025, October 22nd of this year. So in a couple weeks, we will see Nancy, and we will rejoice in the return of an adult now, Joy Wesley.
And there's a photo going around online of a side-by-side of Joy next to Nadia Bjorlund's Chloe. Holy moly.
Good casting.
Great casting there.
Yeah. Keeping up with casting, we have some new news from our friend Mike Manning. He's co-starring in a new indie western called The Wolf and the Lamb, which is shooting in Montana. And Mike is also executive producing this one. So it's a little indie western that will hopefully be coming out next year. I think it's probably going to do the festival circuits, but we will be sure to keep you informed that. And as you can see, Mike with the beard going on right here. Yeah, so big congrats. Big congrats to Mike Manning, who stays working, is always working, and keeps a job. Next up in casting, we have some Jackie Harry news. She is actually reprising her role as Vanessa in the new animated version of Everyone Hates Chris. Again, if you know, she was in the original sitcom that was in the 2010s, and they are bringing it back now as an animated show. And mostly everyone except for Tyler James Williams, of course, for obvious reasons, is coming back to portray their characters in now in animated form. So Jackie is back as the character Vanessa, and you can check out new episodes at Comedy Central.
Yeah, I love this. Next up, we have a congratulations to Tina Hong for her win of Best Supporting Actress at the New Jersey Web Fest for her voice performance in the narrative podcast Divorce Ranch. Listen to Divorce Ranch right now on all podcast platforms. Congratulations, Tina.
Yeah, big congrats to Tina. Next up, we have a little Lauren Koslow news. I think, was it approximately now, maybe 2 years ago, we did a story about Lauren finding her son that she had placed for adoption when he was born. And at the time, she sort of just sort of came out with the news and sort of let us sit in it. But now she has spoken to Women's World and done an interview about it, and basically here's how it went down. She revealed that she had actually, Josh is 16 years old, that she actually placed him for adoption 3 days after his birth, and that how they sort of reunited is that she had done a profile on ancestry.com and sort of did it and found her information and sort of left it alone. And then maybe a couple years later, something in her spirit just told her to check it. And she logged on one day and saw that she had a connection to Josh and sort of reached out to him and realized, of course, that he is the long lost baby that she placed for adoption when she was a teen mom at 16 years old. Since then, they have reunited. And this is a picture of them taking a cross-country road trip together to sort of, Lauren describes it as this was their trip where they sort of got to know each other, delved into their family history, and sort of forged a relationship as mom and son now. So it's a really, really beautiful story. Go and read the article or go and look on Lauren's Instagram at Lauren Koslow for info. It's just she sort of is opening up a lot more than we see Lauren do. So yeah, it's just a really great sort of beautiful story with a happy ending. So just good luck to Lauren and Josh here. So
And hey, Josh.
yeah, I know.
I love
He does
that.
look like the rest of his siblings too, which is, I mean, it's always of course he would, but yeah.
Gosh, I love that for them. I love that for her.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have some social media congratulations. So on the Day social media studio, if anybody has been following that, has been very active with Mary Beth Evans and Stephen Nichols sitting down as Pat and Kayla to play a round of DOOL-ing couple. Then we catch up with the rest of the cast, Stephen, Mary Beth, Brady, Rob, and Abigail, as Clyde, as they react to / are ambushed with their old headshots. So go to the Days TikTok social media page to see how everybody reacted to those. And hey, yeah, Stephen Nichols looked like that back in the day. Like I'm saying back in the day, like 20 years. That was just like 20 years ago. But yeah. Also, happy 21st wedding anniversary to friends of the show, Eric Martzoff and Lisa Martzoff. While it's an interesting milestone for them, they're also reaching another milestone as empty nesters, as their twins have graduated high school and
Araceli,
gone to college.
I think your thing moved. We can't hear you as clearly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you
you
hear
go.
me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. So they're empty nesters now. The kids are off to college. So congratulations to Eric and Lisa marking their anniversary, and enjoy this new phase of parenthood and marriage. Next up, we have an interview with Days alum, Akitra Civilian, who sat down with The Big Scoop with Coop Show to talk about her upcoming projects since leaving Days of Our Lives. Check out her interview at thebigscoopwithcoop.com.
Yes. Next up, we have some upcoming events, starting with Star Image Entertainment. We still have their Q&A cocktail Zooms. First one we have is with Black siblings, Eric Martzoff and Martha Madison. Theirs is scheduled for October 16th. And then we have the Melissa Reeves and Matt Ashford Q&A Zoom on October 28th. All tickets and info, you can go to eventbrite.ca/Star Star Image Entertainment.
Yes, and Starstruck Fan Events will be hosting the Bears Who Care the Oktoberfest charity to benefit Bears Who Care, which is an organization which promotes reading and bringing comfort to children in need. That will be a 5K run on Sunday, October 20th in Orlando, Florida. But there will be a luau fan event the day before on October 19th. So if you have any Hawaiian shirts or Hawaiian gear, make sure to bust that out for the event. For tickets information and all current updates, go to starstruckfanevents.com.
Yes, and one of our friends of the show, Mr. Christopher Sean, who is always booked and busy over the next few weeks, will be doing a lot of appearances, specifically on the East Coast for a few of them, starting with he's going to be hosting the Ultraman Showdown at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey on Saturday, October 19th. Stay tuned to his Instagram at Mr. Christopher Sean for more details there. He's also going to be a part of the New York Comic Con on Sunday, the following day, October 20th, 2 to 3 p.m. in room 409 if you happen to be attending New York Comic Con. And then a couple weeks from now, he will be teaching 2 acting workshops on November 2nd and 3rd for the ICANN Festival. It's the International Cultural Arts Network. If interested, please register by October 18th at www.icanintel.org.
Mm-hmm. And we are leading up, guys, 3 weeks. We have 3 weeks, 3 weeks until Day of Days, Saturday, November 2nd at Peacock Theater at LA Live, hosted by Tony Moore, who is here with some updates.
Yes, so just to let you guys know a little bit of tidbit information about how this year's Day of Days will go. So number one, it's fully indoors now. So previous years, it's always been outside, especially last year, it was outside. It was a little bit earlier than usual, and it was so hot outside that everyone was like, I am burning up. So this time, it is fully inside the Peacock Theater at LA Live. Also, just a reminder, entry is free, but they do ask that you all RSVP at peacockdayofdays.com. And it is first come, first serve. So once they hit capacity, then that's it. So make sure you guys arrive early. Some other things that you guys can expect is that they will still do the cast introductions when they walk across the stage and wave. There'll be plenty of photo apps. This year, all talent will sign in the morning and in the afternoon in hopes that you all will get as many signatures and more signatures this year. There will be a musical performance by the day players, also a Q&A with the cast as always, and some exclusive sneak peek previews of what's to come. Also, throughout the day, there will be trivia, there will be games, there will be limited giveaways, so you guys can expect all of that. Also, just to let you guys know, this year, with the autograph process, you won't have to stand the entire time. Inside the theater, there will be sections designated for each autograph line. You'll be able to sit and then get placed in line so that you can receive your autographs for that table. So you don't have to stand the whole time, which is a really good thing. You can kind of sit comfortably, and then when it's time for you to get in line, you can do that. Also, another good thing is that there will be food and concessions inside the Peacock Theater. There will still be the restaurants at LA Live, but you'll be able to grab a snack and come on back if you need to. There'll be stuff available there. And yeah, and also for anyone that needs ADA needs, there will be an interpreter there, and there will be elevators available for those of you that need it in order to get to the autograph station. So everything that you need to know for this year is located at peacockdayofdays.com. So make sure you check that out. But lots of great things in store for you all. But just wanted to give you guys just a little insight as to what's to come this year and the indoor version of Day of Days.
Nice. Really great changes. Continuing on with Day of Days weekends, Day of Days weekend, you can also check out another event the night before, the Starstruck fan event. They're doing their event Yesterdays with the Twist. Again, Friday, November 1st, Day of Days weekend. We did let you know that Peter Porte will not be able to attend due to scheduling conflicts, but Julie Dove and Remington Hoffman have both signed on. So in addition to the stars that are already going to be there, tickets and info, you can go to starstruckfanevents.com.
And also that Day of Days weekend, if you cannot make this event, that Friday night will also be the exclusive cocktail and dinner party with the Ladies of Hollywood from 5:30 to 9:30. Again, this is on November 1st, the day before Day of Days. For tickets and information, email Lori Beth at lorimatrix@yahoo.com.
Yes, and as Tony just mentioned, we will get a little taste of the day players during Day of Days during the day, but also they've added a show at the Bourbon Room the night of Day of Days where you can see their full set. They've also added 2 new dates in Florida, this one in Naples and Tampa in November. They'll be joined by fellow castmate Leo Howard, I think in substitute for Wally Kurt those dates. And then they've added a couple new dates for next year, starting in February 2025. And those dates are both in Charlotte, North Carolina and Atlanta, Georgia. So all tickets and info, you can go to thedayplayersband.com.
And also, I think that they might have updates considering the recent hurricane coverage that has hit the state of Florida. So as always, for any updates, please follow the Day Players on their social media if you have any tickets to such events for any last minute changes.
And that has been
News and gossip.
And now it's time to find out what's coming up this week on Days of Our Lives.
I know. It was you.
I'm so happy to have you back. Whoever that woman is, she sure as hell ain't Abigail.
She placed you there, in the driver's seat of that car.
I'm not a monster. You are about to have a terrible accident.
I have to murder Chad Tamara.
He's not answering his damn phone.
Not Chad. Take you, Abigail.
Okay.
Le drama!
Wow.
They said 2 dramatic conclusions.
Yes. Okay.
Well, brace yourselves, everybody, because next week is about to be a doozy.
Yes.
And guess who's going to be here to talk about it? Just me and Justin. Just me and Justin. And you all. So make sure you are tuning in next week because, honey, Le Drama is going to be in full effect. Well, everyone, that has been Dishin Days. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. But before we head out, Justin Lee Hareld, where can they find you?
Follow me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
Araceli.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tia323 Araceli.
And go show Michael Mattis some love at ML Mattis on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. And of course, you can find us, Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for bearing through the many technical difficulties that we were having during this pre-taped recording. You might be thinking to yourself, why didn't you go back and do that? Nope, we like to do live to tape. So with that being said, I'm going to go check my internet, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you back here next Sunday for another full dish of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.